And the ecstasy of that total experience makes for a life of triumph over tragedy, dullness, and mediocrity. But for this whole process to work for us, we must first master the art of discipline, self-discipline, consistent self-discipline. It takes consistent self-discipline to master the art of setting goals, to master the art of time management, to master the art of leadership, to master the art of parenting and relationships. If we don't make consistent self-discipline part of our daily lives, the results we seek will be sporadic and elusive. It takes a consistent effort to truly manage our valuable time, or we'll be consistently frustrated. Now let's take a closer look at discipline. True discipline is not the easiest option. Most people would rather sleep until 10 o'clock than get up at 6. It's easier to go to bed late, sleep late, show up late, leave early. It's easier not to read. It's easier to turn on the television than to open a book. It's easier to do just enough than to do it all. Waiting is always easier than acting. Trying is always easier than doing. Imagine what life would be like if we didn't have to make our bed in the morning, or keep our garage clean, or pay our taxes, or show up for work tomorrow. Wouldn't it be fascinating if we didn't have to do these things? Wouldn't it be fascinating? What do you suppose would become of us? You're right, not much. For whatever the reason, the system we live in and contribute to is designed to make the easiest things in life the most unprofitable. Profitable seems to be the most difficult. Our world is and always will be a constant battle between the life of ease and its momentary rewards and a life of discipline and its far more significant rewards. Each has its own price, the price of discipline or the price of regret. We will pay one or the other. What we wish we had done is the voice of regret, speaking in a sorrowful tone at a time when there is no going back. This is regret. No second chance. No what would I do differently. Choose one or the other, but both will have their price, the price of discipline or the price of regret. One costs pennies, the other a fortune. Dostoevsky said, "There are hundreds of young men who would die for the truth, but very few who would spend 5 years studying to know what the truth is."
You want a bigger car? How about a nice house in Tahiti? We all want better things, don't we? If you do the same thing tomorrow that you did today, you're stuck. And it doesn't change.
So here's one of the key questions of the evening. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do that'll make a change in your life's direction? Now see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? It's gonna be the same.
So the first thing I want you to think about today is I want you to wake up tomorrow and do something different. Just because you did it a certain way yesterday, there's no reason to do it that way today.
What can you do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? Good question.
That's not what drives success. You do. You do. When you go back tomorrow, you'll either start counting guests or you won't. You'll either look at your staff and get rid of the dead weight that you know is costing you money, or you won't. And every one of you wrote the word action down at least a few times, correct? Do it!
So if you're going to be on this planet for 70 years and things happen slower than they should, you're going to have less, aren't you? So let's all hurry up, man, and get more out of life.
I see so many times in business meetings, someone in the middle of a meeting, they will pull out their phone and start checking their social media feed or start checking emails. And what I suggest, this is just my opinion, but that's disrespectful. The greatest gift you can give your child or your spouse or your client or your coworker is the gift of the fullness of your attention. When you focus your presence and your energy and your attention on another human being, you make that person bigger. You validate that person. One of the greatest gifts you can give another human being is the gift of pristine listening. And if you're checking your phone, well, then again, you're taking your attention and you're leaving attention residue on your phone, which means you have less attention for the conversation. And if you have less attention for the conversation, then you're not really listening to that person. And if you're not really listening to that person, the deep place within them knows it, and they're going to trust you less. And you're going to miss data that would allow you to serve your client or build the teammate or dominate your domain. So no phone conversations professionally and personally. Just turn off your phone, turn off your device before the meeting, and go all old school and have a real conversation. The best leaders are curious. You don't get that if you're worried about your incoming digital messages.
A lot of times when we are focusing on what we've lost or what we're losing, we're not focusing on what we've gained. A lot of times we're focusing, on what's possible as a result of this. We tend to mono-focus, right, on either good or bad. I like it, I don't like it. It tastes good, it doesn't. It's hurting me, it's not. Well, what if you could learn how to observe both? What if you could observe the law of polarity in its entirety that says you cannot have an electron without a proton, and in without an out, and up without an down. You cannot have that on this planet, in this universe. So is it possible that with just a little bit of training, whether it's mindfulness or meditation or awareness, you can be sad, you can grieve, and be joyful and happy at the same time? See, it's when we are afraid that we're losing something that we've got that Frankenstein brain of ours saying, what if, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And when we are in that state, we can't be focused on what are we going to do about it. Now, in a grieving state like with my mother, the only thing I want to do about it is make sure that we respect and honor her life and my brothers and sisters and my dad, etc. So I need to focus on that. And when we're talking about, a business going under, a relationship, that's unraveling right now, if you're focusing on all of the disempowering emotions and circumstances, you cannot be focusing on the solution to that possible problem. So you have to learn how to manage the emotions. And for those of you who don't know what that's like,
there are so many things you're striving for. That fancy green Lamborghini, the Rolex watch, that once you have it, your happiness will not go up consistently. You might get a buzz for a week. That's okay, buy it, but don't make the Rolex or the car or the house be the thing that you think once you're there, you have arrived. No, it's the moments in between. And when I say that, I'm digressing. I'm sharing a lot in this one podcast. As I look back on my life right now, I know that I raced a lot of my life. When I get to 1 million, oh my God, I want to get to 2 million. Oh my God, I want to get to 50 million. Oh my God, I want to get to 100 million bucks. Oh my God, we went to this vacation spot. What's the first thing we're doing? Oh, this was fun. What's the next thing? I was always looking to what's next. I wish someone would have told me this message and shared it then. What am I spending my money on, and what moments should I be enjoying to slow down and recognize now? This weekend, I went away with my kids, and I took them fly fishing. And in the old days, I'd drive to a spot, try, no fish, race as fast as I can because the next one could be better than the next one. You know what I did this weekend? We got to a spot and my kids were just happy. They were playing, and I was noticing they didn't give a shit about catching fish. They loved the moment, the experience, and I just sat there and we fished for like 2 hours in one spot, did not catch a fish, and had the best time of our lives because we enjoyed the moment in between, right? I had guides. I cut the check for guides. That was important to me. I wanted my kids to learn how to fish from some people that were a pro, how to know where to cast, how to catch the fish, how to take them off the hook. I mean, I fished my whole life, but I wanted pros to show them how to really fish. I'll pay for education. I'll pay to go faster. But I realized even if we took a helicopter and did all that fancy stuff, the moment in between was the experience of being there with my kids in the mountains with a perfect lake and them learning how to cast. And that was worth $100 million to me.
You're going to use what you think to guide your action, and the consequence of that is going to be how your life turns out. So I'm dead serious about what I write because I know what the pathway is. It's like you don't communicate in a false manner, because if you do, you will warp the structure that guides your actions, and you will absolutely 100% suffer for that. I mean, one of the things I've learned as a clinical psychologist is that I've never seen anyone, it's really a terrifying thing, I've never seen anyone get away with anything, ever. The chickens always come home to roost. So, and sometimes it might, let's say you get away with something, it's like, yeah, you think so, man. You wait 5 years from now, 7 years from now, it'll come back.
Is that karma?
It's more like, yes, I think it's the same idea, but it's more like you don't have the power to manipulate reality. Like, you have the power to bring about reality in some sense, because you confront potential, and through your actions and your communicative intent, you turn potential into reality. But you don't have the power to bend reality without it snapping back at you.
You don't think so? So you don't think visionaries and influencers have the ability to bend reality?
No, I don't think they bend it. I think that they, I mean, you can bring new things into being, but you can't get away with a falsehood. No, you can definitely bring new things into being.
You can't get away with a falsehood.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, makes sense.
And you can't get away with weak thinking either, because, I mean, any more than you can get away with improper action. It just doesn't work. So you're contending, it's why, I mean, one of the themes in my writing is the danger of falsehood. And at every level, it's like, well, if you tell the truth to the degree that you can, or at least don't lie, I think that's rule 8, then you have reality on your side. You got to decide, man, you want reality on your side, or do you want reality against you? Now, I wouldn't recommend the whole reality against you thing, because you're not going to win. You're going to get flattened. And so I'm very careful with what I say, and I'm very careful with what I write.